Circle around the zero, find your love in zero. Back, back, zero. Side, side, zero. Front, front, zero. Tap your love in zero. Did you hear a number? What was the number?
Zero.
Zero. Excellent. So this time when I sing it, I want you to hold up a zero only when I say the word zero. Okay? Only when I say the word zero. Circle round the zero, find your love in zero. Back, back, zero. Side, side, zero. Front, front, zero. Tap your love in zero. Good job. Y'all are so good. Excellent. Okay, let's do my turn, your turn. Circle round the zero.
Circle round the zero.
Find your love in zero.
Find your love in zero.
Back, back, zero.
Back, back, zero.
Side, side, zero.
Side, side, zero.
Front, front, zero.
Front, front, zero.
Tap your love in zero.
Tap your love in zero.
Awesome. Are we ready to try the whole song? Okay, y'all are like the smartest, awesomest four-year-old you've ever heard. Okay. 1, 2, and here we go.
Circle round the zero. Find your love in zero. Back, back, zero. Side, side, zero. Front, front, zero. Tap your love in zero.
Excellent. I would like for, what's your name?
Sarah.
Sarah to come be my helper. Sarah, will you come help me? Yay! Okay, so Sarah, your job is to stand there. Okay. Can you do that? Okay. So we're going to talk about the motions for this game. So we're going to pretend that Sarah is standing in the circle, and I'm going to walk around the circle. And I'm going to stop behind her when I get to the part that says back, back, zero. So I'm going to say, circle around the zero, find your love in zero. And wherever I'm standing behind, I'm going to stop. And I'm going to stand behind her back. Back, back, zero. Where do you think I'm going to go when we say side, side, zero? Where do you think? I'm going to go to her side. Side, side, zero. Where do you think I'm going to go next? Front. Front, front, zero. And then I'm going to tap her on the shoulder. Now, what is a tap? What is a tap? So gentle, right? Am I going to whack her? No, it doesn't say whack. Am I going to kick her? No way. No way. I'm going to tap her gently on the shoulder. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to get a volunteer. I'm going to go through all that really slowly. Now we're going to transition to the circle. You don't have to sit down on the floor for this game, so that's exciting. Well, actually you do after you've had a turn, but maybe we'll just skip that part. Okay, so if you are wearing a pink or a red shirt, I would like for you to walk and find an X. And when you find an X, you're going to stand on it with both of your feet. If you're wearing a blue shirt, please come and walk and find an X. If you're wearing a white or a cream type of a shirt, if you're wearing a black, if you're wearing stripes. Excellent. Oh my goodness, I love how I saw so many people walking to their X. Nobody was running. You were doing exactly what I asked you to do. That was so good. Okay, so when we all get to our spot where I'm going to start the game, I'm going to go first. I'm slowly going to demonstrate again, and then we'll kind of start the game, okay? So this is my turn. I want you to sing with me, and I want you to watch what I do. Circle
Around the zero. Find your love in zero. Back, back, zero. Side, side, zero. Front, front, zero. Tap your love in zero.
Now, who do you think is going to get to go next? She is! Jane! Okay, Jane's going to go next. So I'm going to sit in Jane's spot, and she gets to go around the circle. Are y'all ready? Yes. Here you go.
Circle around the zero.
the playground without me even helping. So, so that's, you want to really challenge them. They can do it. And they know, and they'll figure it out. You'll usually see like one kid sort of be like the leader, like rises the one like that's carrying it. But that's fine. That's great. Okay, great job. Go back to your seats. Okay. So I just want to talk about a few like general tips for preschool management. So how many of y'all work with preschoolers every week? Like that's the group of kids you work with. Okay. Do any of you teach preschool like at a school or something? Sunday school? Okay. Awesome. So, and a lot of this you probably already know and you already do it, but sometimes it's just a good refresher to like put a name to it or just be reminded. So specific concrete directions, specific details, check for understanding, assume nothing, okay? So I'm going to be like, I told you, not only did I say come to the circle, I told who was going to come to the circle. I said how you're gonna walk, you're gonna stand on it on 2 feet, right? So like that seems like really like way too much information, but they will do something different that you know, like don't assume that they know. So really specific concrete instructions. Anytime I have something that's in their hand, I'm gonna tell them what to do with that thing. Because they will play the instrument if you give it to them, but so if you want them to keep it quiet, you gotta tell them that or tell them to put it on their knee or whatever, but just make sure you're giving really, really specific instructions. Positive reinforcement and narration. I feel like when I'm teaching kindergarten, I am like constantly narrating everything. Oh, I love how Sarah just walked. I love how you're using your singing voice. Oh my goodness, it makes me so happy when you're following directions. Like all of that, it's a constant thing, but that keeps it very positive. But it also makes the children want to do the right thing because you're not giving attention to the behaviors. Like if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, I'm not going to give you attention. So I'm going to give you attention if you're doing the right thing. And then just transitions around the room. We already kind of practiced that, specific and orderly. In my classroom, I actually have like colored dots in my circle. And I'll say, this person, I want you to find a red dot. I want you to find a green dot. So that's a way of like spreading kids out that I want to, like that I don't want sitting near each other or whatever. So just the more specific that you can get it with what they're doing and how they're doing it is really, really good. I want us to do instruments for a little bit. So with instruments, like modeling how to play is really important. I even have my kindergarten students play xylophones, but we don't do anything with the actual letters. I have it set up in a pentatonic scale, so I took off the F's and the B's, and that way like nothing clashes with each other. And I just have them play like echo patterns or steady beat. But I like to get the mallets in their hands and get them used to, what we're doing. So I have, when you walk to your instrument, our hands are down. We call that rest position. We pick up the mallets. We talk about how to hold it like you're driving a bicycle. Not like this. They like to put their finger out or be like all fancy like a snare drum player or whatever. So we talk about all of that stuff. We talk about hitting in the middle of the bars. We want to bounce it up. And then I'm going to ask questions. So I'm going to say, okay, am I going to hit the bar at the end or in the middle? In the middle. Am I going to hit it as hard as I can or gently? Gently, right? Is this how I hold my mallets? No. Is that how I hold my mallets? No. Is this how I hold my mallets? Yeah, so I'm just going to check for understanding over and over until I really feel like they have got it. And then, we can play. And same thing with any instruments. Anything we're trying to demonstrate, we're going to show them, then we're going to ask them. Like show them and then like ask them with the wrong way and the right way. And just make sure that they actually see the difference in what you're doing and what you're talking about. Another thing is if you don't have enough instruments for everybody to do the thing that you're doing, you've got to have something for the other one. So I am very fortunate in my school right now. I have 30 xylophones. Like my whole class can play xylophones together. But I've been in schools where I have 8 xylophones, and so the other ones have to do something. So I just want to throw that out there as far as like you can give them rhythm sticks. You can let them practice on their knees, which feels like you're hitting bars at the same time, and have them rotate. Or give them some special task. I've even paired them with a person on an instrument where they're sitting in front and they're watching how they're playing, and then let them give a compliment about how that person was doing. So all kinds of things, but you definitely need a task for every child, because most of us don't have as many instruments as we wish there's a lot of things I have that I don't have enough for everyone, So just kind of keeping that in mind is helpful. Okay, let's see. Oh yeah, and just one more thing I want to talk about, and I mentioned this in my last preschool session, I think, but make sure that the instruments you're using are going to help them be successful in the task. So we talked earlier about, like, if you're wanting them to keep a steady beat, then using egg shakers is probably not the best, because an egg shaker is not a clean beat. You hear the back, you hear it come back. So you want to think about using, a thunder tube is like awesome if you're like telling a story and need thunder, or if we're talking about the voice of God or something. But like it's not great if we're like trying to play a rhythm pattern. So just kind of think about what instruments work well for whatever you're trying to do. We're gonna play a game. I call this game Steady Potato. And I'm sure you can kind of guess that it's similar to hot potato, but the potato is steady, it's not hot. So I would love for you to come back to the circle. And I would love for you to sit this time. Sorry about that. If anyone does not want to sit on the floor, I totally understand. You can just watch. I won't be yeah. Okay. So the way that this game is going to work, so this is our potato. It's a steady potato. So just so you know about my potato, and this potato will cry if you throw her or if you hit her. We only can pass her, okay? So please don't hit her. And usually if somebody does like accidentally throw it, like we'll all be like, oh, are you okay? And we'll like give her a little minute to just like be okay. Okay, so don't throw her, just make sure you're just passing her. We're gonna pass the steady beat of the song, so this is not hot potato, we're not trying to get rid of it as fast as we can. Whenever the potato lands on somebody, when the music stops, they're gonna leave the circle and they're gonna come to this instrument. And they're going to play the steady beat with the music. Okay? Then after the next round, they're going to move over and the new person's job is going to come in. So we're going down the line. So xylophone, sticks, drum, frog, around, all the way down. Does that make sense? Okay. And we will not do all of those rounds today, but we'll just play for a few minutes. Let's see. Yeah, maybe try to. I was gonna connect it myself, but I need to start and stop the music. So awesome. Thank y'all so much. Your jeans are gonna have some nice dusting here in a minute. Okay. We'll start with you. Okay, so we're gonna pass the steady beat. Yeah, you can sit there. recording, so we're actually not going to play the sounds, but we're going to start with the sticks. Yeah, start with the sticks, and then you're still going to go around. No xylophones. Party foul. Okay.
God wants us to worship. God wants us to worship. God wants us to worship with a song. God wants us to worship. God wants us to worship. I'll help you.
Okay. So I want you to think about where you're going next. So put your sticks down and go to the next one, and she's going to come over to the sticks. Good. Okay.
God wants us to worship with a song.
Okay, good job. So that's basically that game, right? So the song's over because it's a little preschool song. Okay, but that's how that game works. And of course, you can do it with a more upbeat song. That's an anthem from, where is that? God wants us to praise Him. From We Can Sing Volume 2 from Growing Grace. So you can use it with an anthem. And another way to get something in their ears before you start teaching it to them, or any music is fun. But that's a fun way to get to instruments and yeah. But always having something like, we're not just gonna play an elimination game where you just go sit, right? You're gonna have something to do when you're done, when you're out of the game.
And you have the number of instruments over there that you have.
Right, you need to have enough. And sometimes I'll set it up different ways in my classroom. With the little ones, I like to have it very this is what you're doing. With my older ones, I'll have different instrument stations set up, and they get to choose. When they get out, they get to choose where they go. But a 4-year-old will spend an hour choosing, and then the game is over, and they're doing math in the back of their class, right? So or whatever. So yeah. So thank y'all. Okay. Okay, so when I give you a pair of sticks, I would like for you to hold them on your knees like trees. That's on your knees like trees. Are my trees making any noise? No, they are not making any noise. They are the quietest trees, and they're covered in snow because they're I love it. On your knees like trees. Okay. Oh my goodness. I love how Cynthia is holding her sticks on knees like trees. She is doing such a great job following directions. That makes me so happy when people are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. Y'all are like the best preschoolers I've ever seen. Wow. Okay. So just like what I was just talking about, I'm giving you something specific to do with them, right? Let's do some echo patterns. My turn, your turn. Instead of playing it, I'm going to say the notes Ta and Tiji. My kindergartners learn Ta and Tiji towards the end of the school year, and I'll give you another alternative way to do that if you are not, I don't know how you teach notes with your kids or anything like that, but this time I say you play. Ta, 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 ta. Titi, ta, titi, ta. Ta, ta. Okay, so now instead of using TT and ta, I'm going to use words. I'm going to use the words cookie and cake. So like we talked about in the earlier session with the iconic notation. So now we're going to do echo patterns. This could be on any instrument, but I'm going to use words cookie and cake. Okay, cake, cake, cookie, cake. Cookie, 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 cake. Cookie, cake, cake, cake. Cookie, 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 cake. my last session, but it works great with little ones too. So here is our poison pattern. Our poison pattern is cake, 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 cake. So if I say cake, 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 you're not going to play. Okay? Cookie, cake, cookie, cake. Cookie, cookie, cake, cake. Cake, 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 cake. Okay, I didn't get anybody. Excellent. Okay. Now, so y'all are advanced. Y'all are really, really good. So, but that's the poison rhythm game, and so I can also do it with just playing it and letting you echo. So let's do one round like that. So keep your sticks. Now I'm just playing it. That pattern is still poisonous. Still poisonous. And we do diadramatic death if we're out in this game. So, if you would like to diadramatic death, that's fine. I've got like some pictures of like a whole class like completely dead on the floor. Like, like their teeth like, can we stay like this till our teacher gets here? I'm like, sure, that's fine. Okay. Yeah. So my turn, your turn. Oh, you almost did it. Nobody? Okay, y'all are too good. Okay, usually somebody. Okay, so that's just a few different ways that you can do echo patterns. Any instruments is great. Just make sure, you know, when we're passing stuff out, we're giving really concrete instructions. So
for a while, would you have them say the ta's and the t's?
Well, I actually don't.
With you or no?
I don't do ta's and t's until
Right.
after.
Right.
When I'm doing instruments, I usually just have them play it. Like I would say like t t t t ta ta, and they just play. If it's something that they've created or something like that, then they can say it to, you know, help themselves out a little bit. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. Yes, that is me with the scarf. Okay.
Poison pattern, what did you say it was?
I just call that game poison rhythm,
Poison
but
rhythm.
I think it has a few different names for like people call it different things. Okay. So what's gonna happen is when I call on you, on your group, you're gonna bring me your stick, and then you're going to get a scarf, and you're going to try to hide it from me. So you're gonna put it somewhere where I cannot see it. Not in your clothes, like in your hands. Okay. So you're gonna try to put it somewhere where I cannot see it, and just find your own space in the room. Okay? So let's go over that again. You're bringing me your sticks. You're getting a scarf. Find a space in the room and hide your scarf. Okay? If you were born in January or February, I want you to count. Bring your sticks. March and April. May and June. July and August. September, October, November, December. You weren't born in one of those, then I don't know what. Yeah.
I don't know, I have a couple kids I wonder about.
Oh yeah, right. I love how you're all hiding your scarves from me. I didn't even think anybody even got a scarf. Now we're doing a great job. Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna play the music, and you're just gonna be my mirror. So that means you're gonna just do whatever I'm doing with my scarf. And there's no talking during this game. You have to say that sometimes.
Teach me what's true, show me the way.
Okay.
Teach me what's true. No matter what my ears may hear, I want to hold God's truth so near. Truth that will light each path I take. Truth that is sure and will not change. Teach me what's true.
Okay. Let the other person lead now.
Teach me what's show me the I want to honor God with my life each day. Teach me God, show me God's I want to understand all of God's commands. Teach me what's true. Teach me what's true. Teach me what's true. Teach me what's true. Teach me what's
Nice final pose or something. Okay. Lovely. Okay, great. So I would love for you to bring me your scarf and you can go back to your seat. That was lovely. Some interesting moves. Awesome. Okay, I really, really love that song. That's from Let All the Children Sing, Volume 3 from Growing in Grace. So that's just a really, really nice anthem. Okay, so that was an example of what I call whole body movement, just having their whole body moving and doing something. Consider using scarves, ribbons, seasonal objects like snowflakes and falling leaves and things that they can like wave around. Even like the rhythm sticks earlier, there's a lot of visual things you can do with rhythm sticks other than just click them together. This is a really good way to sort of transition the mood, or like we were just kind of doing some like silly stuff, and then that was kind of a slow, flowy song, right? And it kind of just changes the mood. So think about ways that the body, like the kid's body, can be a part of sort of transitioning the mood. A lot of time, when kids first come in, I'll have just like a slow worship song playing, and we'll do some stretching, and just kind of get the body moving, but in like a very calm way, so that it's not necessarily like a hype moment, but it's just, I mean, we like those too, but you know, think about using whole body movement as a way to sort of help you transition the mood. In the anthems that you're learning, like the form of the anthem, like if you've got a song that has two parts, doing one type of motion on one part and one on the other. They're learning the form of the song and they're moving in two different ways. And it's just when they can get their body involved in what they're learning, it's going to help, and it's going to help them remember and keep them engaged. So let's just talk quickly about teaching a song. So I use two methods for teaching songs most of the time: immersion and rote. So immersion, if we think back to when I taught you the song at the beginning, Circle Around the Zero. Immersion is when children are immersed in the song by hearing it, active listening. So I sang it for you the first time, and what were you doing when I sang it for you the first time? You were listening for a number. Then the second time, you had to hold up the number. And then I might, if in the real classroom, I might give them a task of like keeping a beat on a body part the third time, or like, so I'm letting them hear it lots of times before I'm trying to get them to sing it. And it could be with something like scarves, or like any kind of movement thing, but so like you can use the recordings that come with your curriculum or anything, but you're just trying to get the kids to hear it. So so that's immersion, or I learned it as that. But they're just being immersed in the song. And then rote is our echo singing. So the my turn, your turn. And I feel like those two kind of paired together are just how I teach most songs. It's what the most effective. I try not to use recordings for teaching. Like, it's just me and the kids singing, like singing back and forth, because they can do it. And if they start like relying on just singing along with the recording all the time, you don't know what it's going to sound like when you turn it off, you know, if they're just used to leaning on it. But they can do it, and really getting them towards that independence. Like, once we echo sing back and forth some, we sing it all together, then I'm going to try to say, can you do it without me? And I like just sit there and listen to them, and they can usually, even the really little ones can rise up to that and can do it, and it's just really good for their ears and their musicianship. So that's just kind of, I don't know, just a nugget of my favorite ways to teach a song, I guess. So let's talk about using manipulatives. I love some manipulatives. So we're gonna do some rhythm. Do I have like, let's say 5 volunteers that want to come back and sit on the floor? You can sit like in a straight line across the black line if you want to.
Where are we facing?
The front. You can face the front. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let y'all work together because I'm only have 4 hours. Okay. Okay. So first of all, I'm gonna say. Well, first I'm gonna find my little windows. These are. Where are they?
You had some over there.
I do have a few, but I have some little baggies of them somewhere. There's so much stuff, y'all. Okay. Here they go. Okay. So first, I'm going to say, okay, your heartbeat card is going to stay flat on the floor. You're not going to pick it up to show me your pattern. You're going to leave it flat on the floor because I can see your patterns from where I am. So where is your heartbeat card going to stay? On the floor. Flat on the floor. That's right. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little bag of animals. And the first thing I want you to do is just take them out. And I want you to put 1 animal in each heartbeat. Okay. 1 animal in each heartbeat. Okay, so if we have 1 sound in each heartbeat, that's a ta, or we could use, do y'all want to do ta and TT right now, or do you want to do cake and cookie?
Cake and cookie.
Let's do cake and
That's what I
cookie,
do.
yeah.
That's what
I
I do.
mean, I would start with cake and cookie, as I said, yeah. So, okay, so if we were looking at this pattern, we would say cake, 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 cake. Can you say that with me? Cake, 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 cake. I would love for you to take your pointer finger and point and follow the heartbeats. Ready, go. Cake, 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 cake. Now, I'm going to change the pattern, and I want you to see if you can figure out how to make your pattern match mine. So you might need 2 animals in one of the heartbeats. Here's the pattern. Cake, cake, cookie, cake. Y'all are so good. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay, I see lots of people who got it right, and I'm just going to look around and give them some time. Okay, so in the first heartbeat, you're going to have 1 animal. In the second heartbeat, you're going to have 1 animal. What about the third heartbeat? 2 animals, because that's when I said cookie, and that has 2 sounds. Cookie. 2 sounds. So we're going to put 2 animals, and then our last heartbeat is what? Cake. It's just 1, right? Okay, can we follow with our fingers and read this one? Ready, go. Cake, cake, cookie, cake. Excellent. Good job. Okay, clear all of your animals off. Okay, now I'm going to make it really hard. I'm going to say the pattern, and I'm going to say it 3 times. And after I say it 3 times, you're going to make it on your heartbeat drum. Okay, here's the pattern. Cookie, cake, cookie, cake. 3 times. Cookie, cake, cookie, cake. Cookie, cake, cookie, cake. I was like, why aren't you doing anything? It's been a long day. Y'all were really listening though. Y'all were waiting. Good job. Okay. Awesome. I see lots of people who did it right. So let's see if we can say it together. Ready, go. Cookie, cake, cookie, cake. Excellent. So that's kind of an example of how I would use manipulative. So I'm going to, again, give them really concrete instructions, tell them exactly what to do. I would also say what not to do with the erasers. We're not throwing them. We're not trading them. We like to trade things at my school a lot. We're just keeping them and doing stuff with them. So you can also let them create patterns, right? So I could just say, now you decide if you want to put 1 sound or 2 sounds in each heart and make your own, and then we can share that. So, okay, thank you all so much. If you will put your animals back in the bag. Good. Thank you. I'll do this later. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Listen to this rhyme, please, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about it. Raise your hand if you can tell me which voice am I using? Am I using a singing voice or a whisper voice or a talk voice? I'm using a whisper voice. Raise your hand if you can tell me what season do you think it is in this house? It's winter because it's snowing, that's right. Okay, let's, can you join me and say it with me this time? Here we go. When I give you a snowflake, you're going to find your own space and then you're just going to hold on to your snowflake. You're not going to drop it. Now, this is going to be physically demanding for some adults, so it's okay if you don't want to do this, but preschoolers are all about it. So when you hear the xylophone go down, they're going to follow the melody all the way down to the ground. They're going to try to fall slowly. Because snowflakes, they sort of drift through the sky, right? They don't go down really fast. So we want to make sure we're moving like a snowflake. So let's say the rhyme first, holding our snowflake up above our head, and then we're just going to listen. Here, here. So close. So close to the end of the day. Okay. Okay. These are also great for vocal exploration for, we can like follow my snowflake. Woo! Right? We can draw some pathways. Lots of good stuff that we can do with snowflakes and just seasonal things in their hands, right? We think about the musical things that you can do with something in their hands. It's yay. Okay, when I come get your snowflake, you may sit back down. Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Yay! Hooray! Okay. Okay, so I love to read books in the classroom and use books in different ways. So I'm gonna sing you one of my books that I love, which is What a Wonderful World. And I might not sing the whole thing. But while I'm singing, I want you to be looking or listening for something in this book that God made. Listen or look for something that God made. And make sure that if you see something or you hear it, you hold it in your brain until the end. You hold it in your brain until the end. Yes. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white. The bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Hey, raise your hand if you saw or heard something that God made. Trees. Rainbow. The bumblebees.
Clouds of white.
Clouds of white. What else?
The baby.
The baby. Does anybody have a baby brother, sister at home? I will talk about that. The things that you like. What did you say? Birds. Yes. Okay. And the people. So we just talk about that. But I love singing books and reading books in like a musical way. But again, like getting the kids to think of something while you're reading it will help them stay engaged instead of just telling them to be quiet and listen. Because that's like, you would totally be like, just be quiet and listen. But like helping them, like giving them something to listen for, is just kind of what I wanted to demonstrate there. And that's a beautiful, I love the illustrations of this one, so much. So I found that, I got this somewhere really random, but I'm sure it's online. And a lot of books too, like if you have any kind of book that has like a rhyme to it, that's kind of a rhythmic rhyme, those are great for reading and with music and even getting the kids to keep a beat, or you can put like a hip hop track with with it, which I do a lot at school, and they think is really cool. So you can do a lot with books. So, okay. Last thing, just tips for managing behavior. That's my face a lot of the time when I'm working. So, and these are really just things that we've talked about throughout this, but just, like I said earlier, just putting a name to it helps sometimes. Active engagement is your friend. If preschoolers have dead time, they will find something to do, and it's probably not what you want them to do. Change activities often. You might need to transition to another area of the room just for the sake of changing scenery. So honestly, a lot of times, like in my classroom, I have the chair or their spots where they sit, and I have a circle. And a lot of times I'll just transition just for the sake of moving them. So because I'm losing them or somebody's picking on somebody else or whatever, but just moving them to the circle and still continuing to work on the same thing sometimes can help, or moving them just to a different part of the room or standing up and doing this game. So just think about, changing activities often. Their attention span, 5-year-old, about 5 minutes. So you gotta have a lot of things up your sleeve, of course, and just be willing to change activities a lot. Sometimes, as far as positive reinforcement and stuff like that, the positive narration goes a long way. I will sometimes do a happy list on the board, just write names, when I see somebody doing the right thing, just go write their name on the board and not say anything, and then they all get a sticker, the ones on that list or something at the end. But I try to just always draw attention to the good behaviors. And of course, nothing works all the time, right? There's always that one kid or whatever. But and with most of my kids at school, I've kind of learned what their needs are. And some kids do really need attention and want it. But if I can give attention for the one thing that they're doing right instead of all the things, and it might be a kid that literally is never, they're all over the place, they're talking, they're being silly, making everybody laugh. But if I happen to catch them in their spot for 1 second, I'm like, oh, I love how you're in your spot. I'm going to make a huge deal out of it. So that the attention they're getting from me is for doing the right thing. And I've noticed that helps with a lot of my kids who, tend to just have those, just want the teacher to say something to them, So, yeah, and just try to maintain a joyful atmosphere. I think that's important. I don't always do that. I can usually feel the classes that I'm stressed and not, but the more we can maintain joy and stuff, and I think we want it to be a joyful place, for lots of reasons, but that's important. So, do y'all have any questions or other comments or things you want to add to it? No? I'll take tips from you too. So.